introducing me, Dual. I'm afraid my Mandarin is not great. Apologies. So I will do the session in English. But I think Dual already explained that I work for Utrecht University. I'm going to say just briefly who I am. I work as an international marketing advisor in the international marketing team. And what we do is prepare students like yourselves as good as we can before arrival to the Netherlands and to Utrecht in this case, explaining all kinds of things about the country, the culture, the academic part of things. So that is not there will always be a part that it's different to you, but so you are as good prepared as possible. I'm originally from Spain, not from the Netherlands. I've been living there for around 20 years. And then I have also the view of somebody that is from another country, which always, I think, helps to understand questions from students and doubts and to highlight maybe what's different or what's surprising also for me still after so many years. So let's start with the presentation. I will start with some general things so that you have a feeling of what Utrecht is like as a city. It is the fourth biggest city in the Netherlands. We have around 340,000 inhabitants, from which around 67,000 are students, roughly. I must say that Utrecht University has around 38,000 students, and the rest belong to the Applied Science University, but we also have a conservatorium, art academies, and other institutions. So as you can see, the number of students is very big in comparison to the number of inhabitants. Yeah, so it makes it a very young and lively city. I can imagine that comparing to Taipei, which I was lucky enough to visit earlier this year and I loved, it's probably a lot smaller than what you are used to, and you can move a lot easier and yeah, faster, I guess. So that you know, also Utrecht is located in the center of the country, making it very easy to travel to other cities within the Netherlands, but also you can be in Germany, in Cologne in 2 hours, Paris a little bit longer, London 3 hours. So it's very easy to move around, and public transportation works very well, same as it does in Taiwan. Okay. More about the city. It's the third most bicycle-friendly city in the world. So we have around 1 million bicycles. So that's a lot more than we have people. So you can imagine that people have one that is a nicer one, one that is maybe to go out at night. So it's parked somewhere where it can be, you know, it can rain and it won't then get damaged, or to sport in the weekends. And there are around 245 kilometers of bicycle lines, so it's really well prepared for biking. And we also have the world's largest bicycle parking building, which is underneath the central station, and it's like a huge maze, huge parking area with several floors, all full of bicycles. Many times I get the question of, do I really need to bike? Do I really need to learn to bike again? I have not done it since I was a kid. And my recommendation is yes, if you are really serious, seriously thinking about the option of coming to the Netherlands, because this is not only in Utrecht, it's everywhere. I would recommend trying to bike again. Of course, public transportation, as I said, it's really good. There are buses, trams, trains. So if you really don't want to do it, there are options, but it's a little bit expensive. So that's why most people bike. It's just cheap and convenient and very healthy. And what is Utrecht University like? So some data, so you have an idea of how the university looks like. It was founded in 1636, so it's almost 400 years. We have 12 Nobel Prize winners and 3 campuses. I will explain a bit more later of how those campuses look like and where they are located. We have more than 650 professors. We have 7 faculties and 3 teaching institutes, and we have around 38,000 students. And you can see the numbers divided by master, bachelor, how many internationals, and also roughly the nationalities, because of course this number depends a little bit on the year, but yeah, it varies, of course. Regarding the programs that we offer, bachelor programs, we have 46 that are Dutch taught, and we have 12 that are English taught. But for masters, this is the other way around. Most of our master's programs are English taught, around 109. Every year, there is also a program that maybe stops or starts. So it's roughly, we have 46 Dutch taught master's program, and the number of alumni is above the 195,000. As I said earlier, the city is very young, it's full of young people. The university also offers different activities. So we have sports centers and we have cultural centers. So if you are interested in practicing any given sport, if you like better to maybe take a course in photography or theater or join a concert or sing on a choir, you can do so. We do have more than 150 student associations. These are very particular to the Netherlands, and they are a great way to meet other students. Maybe for you to get an idea, it could be a little bit like what we see in the American movies, where students come together and they have like their sessions and their parties. And they can be built around a program, but they can be built around an interest. For example, if you like sports around a given sport, or there is you have the picture here of the Erasmus Student Network, which is more internationally oriented. I know students that are part of the Vegan Student Association, so you name it, and you can find it. It's also good to know that this is a very good way to meet other students, going to class and attending your program, of course, as well. But this is a very particular way, and yeah, it can be fun and nice to meet other people. Okay, going into the campuses, as I explained, we have 3 campuses. So we have one in the city center, which is the medieval city center. So there are buildings, there are cafes, there are restaurants, but we do have a lot of university buildings scattered throughout the city center. You can see a picture here of a building that it's really very beautiful and is very centrally located. The faculties of humanities and economics have their lessons mostly in the city center. And we also have one of our libraries located there, as well as the cultural center that I was mentioning earlier on. If you go towards the east of the city, you find the international campus. This doesn't mean that all internationals have class there, but it's just the name that the campus was given. We have one of our colleges there, so there are students that have a particular program that is fully taught there, but the School of Economics is also located there, and other programs do share the classrooms. And then we have the Utrecht Science Park, which is the biggest, also more modern and maybe a little bit less aesthetically beautiful, let's say. But, you know, we have a big amount of people coming back and forth, and the science faculties are located here. There is a second library located in the science park, and also the sports center, Olympus. And as you can see here, everything is measured in bicycle time, but you can also do this by bus or tram. So it's around 10 minutes from the city center to the international campus, and another 10, 7, 10 more to the science park. So it's really easy to move around, and you could have classes throughout the campuses, and you can also access the different libraries, rooms if you need to meet for a project. So in that sense, everything is really easy and easily shared also. And here you can see the picture of even a 4th campus, and this is just for a particular program that is geographically located 2 hours away. But this is just for a program at the University College Roosevelt. I don't know if anyone is interested in that one. I will not be covering the admissions part for them because it's separate, but so that you know that we have this program as well. all three campuses that I was talking about before. So he starts downtown in the old medieval city, and he's visiting some of the buildings we have there. Then, as you have seen, he's biking to the international campus, and explaining that there are a few buildings where classes are hosted there, and that you can also have potentially your lessons over there. And then finally, he bikes towards the Utrecht Science Park, which is the biggest one that I was talking about. As you have seen, the field is a lot more modern and new. And he shows the second library. The first one was this big white building, and the second one, they showed the inside part, all the black different floors that are full of books and study areas. And he finalizes in the sports area, explaining that throughout the campus you can also find different restaurants and food trucks, and grab some food, play sports, and and enjoy the city all throughout the campuses. Apologies again that you could not hear it, but we will share the presentation and the video later on so you can enjoy it. Okay, so moving on, how does studying at Utrecht University look like? So the education model at our university, as you probably know, is a top research university. We have two types of universities in the Netherlands. We have the research universities and we have applied science universities. Research universities like ours are, as the name explains, preparing you more towards research or have a big component of research. It doesn't mean that you have to have an academic career afterwards, but you have to be ready for a lot of self-study and researching and writing a thesis, these kind of things, while the applied science is a lot more practical. The classes are given in form of lectures and seminars. Professors are really approachable. We hear from many internationals in other countries that you would not really go after the class and ask questions, that they are really, that there is a big hierarchy, but in the Netherlands, this is really, really different. It's very normal and even encouraged to ask questions and to go to the professor and discuss whatever is worrying you or you are interested in. That's really the way how it goes here. And there are different teaching methods. I will explain more later. Critical thinking is encouraged. It's what the class and the professors are aiming for. Your opinion really matters in the group, and you will be encouraged to share it. Typically, there are bigger lectures with maybe a bigger group of students, but there will always be a smaller group that you will be working with, or that you can go deeper into the subject. So that's really taken into account that the small group is a better setting to develop yourself. So there will always be a combination. In every course, there is an assessment feedback so that you know how you are doing and what to expect. And there is also honors education in every faculty if you would like to have some more challenging tasks or projects. That's possible. As I was mentioning, we have 7 faculties. These are the Faculty of Science, Geoscience, Social Behavioral Sciences, Humanities, Law, Governance, and Economics. And then we have 2 more, but the programs are Dutch taught only. Those are Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. We also have 12 English taught bachelor's programs. They are listed here. I think our audience is mostly master's oriented, so I will keep this brief. So we have 10 different bachelor programs that are English taught, and we have 2 university colleges. So this is what I mentioned as a 4th campus that was not within Utrecht, and the University College Utrecht is located in what we call the international campus, and they both offer liberal arts and science degrees. And regarding the masters, we have more than 100, as I said, English taught master's programs, and they can last 1 or 2 years. The 2-year masters are called research masters. And as I explained, the research component is very important. And if the master, does need to go deeper and dedicate more time to that, then they typically last 2 years. And these are the different areas where you can find masters, because it would be too long to list here 100 masters, but it's Earth and Sustainability, Economics and Governance, Philosophy and Religious Studies, Health and Life Sciences, Media, Arts, Culture and History, Natural Sciences, Education, Law, Social and Behavioral Sciences, Language, Literature and Communication, Mathematics and Information Services, so that you have an idea, and then you can search on our website for the particular programs that you are interested in. Moving on to application, admissions, and financial matters, so that you have a rough idea of how it works. We have different types of programs, what we call general programs versus the university colleges that I just explained and are not covered here. So if anyone is interested, you can reach out later on. So we have general programs, which are based on a diploma and most likely an English language level test, and that's mostly it. And we have selective programs that do ask for the same as a general program, but then they have additional interviews or documents or another way of selecting students. All this will be always explained in our website in the particular program that you are interested in. So nothing that you need to remember. You can always find it there. And then there are even more selective programs that are numerus fixus programs. And what it means is that the admission is selective, but then there is a fixed number of students that are admitted. This can be decided per program. It can be 7,500, whatever they see. It's a good number to work with. If it's a program, for example, that needs to make use of labs, and there is a particular number of laboratories that can be used, things like that. But this will also be explained in the page of the program. So the basics of the admissions for the general programs, as I said, you need a high school if you are looking into a bachelor, or an university degree if you are interested in a master that is comparable with a Dutch degree. In the case of the high school diploma, this is determined by international student admissions. For the masters, in first instance, it will also go to the international student admissions, but then the graduate school, the particular school and program that you are going to join, has the final word, let's say. For some programs, as I said, there is additional selection procedure that can be a letter, interview, and it's listed on the website, as I said. And then we have the English language requirement. Internally, this is known as EMI, English Medium of Instruction. This is just a way of organizing it by our university, and we have 3 levels: ready, experienced, and advanced. So this will be explained in each particular program, which kind of level you are expected, and then you can find the equivalence of what it means if you're going to take a Cambridge exam, a TOEFL, or any other exam that we accept. And then you can see exactly what is expected, which kind of points we request. And I have listed here the sites for both bachelor and master admissions. You can read at home and check all the details. You also can find here the email address of our admissions office, because if there is a very particular question to your case, I might not be able to answer it, but our admissions office are there to help you, as well as the program coordinators and ourselves. So I would really like to encourage you to don't be shy and ask questions, because that's our job, right? We are there for you. And just don't hesitate to send an email if there is anything particular to your case. If you are doubting for any reason, is my English level good enough, or is this program giving me access to this master? Please ask, don't hesitate. All right, application steps. So before starting your application, of course, find the program that you're interested in. Then check all the entry requirements and deadlines. I have listed here the application deadlines for most programs. For non-EU nationals, that's 1st of April usually, or 1st of May in case you have an EU passport. Please note that for programs, and this is a bachelor program. The deadline is earlier. It can be as early as January. Also good to explain that you can already apply. The platform is open since 1st of October, so you can apply anytime, and that gives you enough time to prepare your documents. Our admissions colleagues will tell you, okay, you are admissible, but you might be missing A or B document, and you have then plenty of time, to arrange whatever you need. Also, probably good to explain that the application process as such starts in StudyLink. This is a platform organized by the Dutch government, and every student, whether national, European, international, that's going to study a higher education program needs to apply via this platform. So they can have a good overview of how many students there are in the Netherlands, which programs are interested in, and other information. So that's the starting point. Also good to know that you can apply for 4 programs. And it doesn't matter if you do it within the same university or different universities. Also, there is no impact for you if you apply 2 with Utrecht, 1 with Amsterdam, 1 with Groningen. Everything will be considered separately, and you have the same chances. So there is no problem. You can do it. It's the way how it works here. Or you can apply for 4 programs in the same university, or if you're only interested in one, that's also possible, of course. Okay, so once you have applied in StudyLink, you will be then redirected to Osiris, which is the particular platform that Utrecht University is using for admissions. And from then onwards, you will be in contact with my colleagues at the admissions office. And as I said, they will explain what's the status of your application, if you miss anything, if you need help, they are there to help and answer. Okay, tuition fees and expenses that you can expect. So tuition fees per year, they do vary a little bit, but not in an extreme amount. So this year for non-EU students, depending on the program, because also it's not the same for every program, they range between roughly 13,000 euro and 27,000. So this is for this academic year, so it will roughly be a little bit more next year. Good also to mention that for EU students, this is different. If one of you or some of you have an European passport, as you can see, that's a big advantage, and that's because the Dutch government subsidizes the cost of the study in big part for local and European students. For other expenses, we recommend to calculate around 1,200 to 1,600 euros per month. Approximately. This will depend on big part on the accommodation, because you might be able to find something that is a little bit more affordable. But if you prefer to live in a studio by yourself, this might be a little bit more expensive. And apart from accommodation, of course, there are living expenses, insurance, study materials, telephone, if you like to travel. So it depends per person, of course. And we also get many times the question from internationals if they can work. Yes, you can work. This is regulated for non-EU students to 16 hours per week or full-time during the summer break. For EU students, there is no limit, but we recommend a similar amount of hours, just because at the beginning you need to get used to a new country, a new program, and there is a lot of self-study involved, so you will need to check a little bit how much you can do. But if once you are confident you want to work, there are a lot of part-time jobs for students in Horeca, supermarket, a student assistant within the university. So there is definitely room to find something and, earn some money for your expenses. All right, what about housing? So we are getting into a little bit of a more difficult subject, but it's important that you are well informed. So housing in Utrecht, this also applies to other universities in the bigger cities in the Netherlands, but There is a structural shortage of housing in the Netherlands, and finding housing is quite difficult. We have noticed that in the last year, this was often underestimated. We had students usually from the European Union, right? Because everything is a lot closer and it feels easier maybe, that arrived in at the end of August or September without having accommodation arranged. And that meant a lot of stress. They underestimated. They thought in a couple of weeks they will find something, but it was not the case. It takes more time, so it's good that you come with a place to stay. It will make it a lot more relaxing at the beginning. We don't want students to have stress. How it works is that universities don't own student housing. There are student housing corporations that do, and then there are private owners that do, and students have to talk to them directly. It is true that because it's so complicated, university is helping out, and every time our housing office books a certain amount of rooms for internationals that are coming for the first time to the Netherlands, so they have a room for the first year. So this helps a lot, but it's not guaranteed and it doesn't cover the whole demand. So this is a good thing to know, and chances are quite good that you get a room this way, but you need to look further just in case. As I said, we recommend to consider this and not arrive without a room because it can be very stressful and we don't want our students to feel like that. Having said this, it sounds pretty tough, but we have also realized that the last couple of years, as we have been informing our students about the situation, everyone is informed, and they are taking the time, and they are, I think, mentally prepared to put a bit of time and effort on this. And usually, most of the students do find a room. I think it's just those that leave it for the last minute and or not aware of the situation because they didn't join any webinar or read all the newsletters that we sent that missed the news. But most of the students are informed and they do find something in time. So I want to also share the better part of this because the last couple of years it did get better, but it's good for you to know. Our housing office also has created several pages with information so you can see what you can expect, so you can learn a little bit more, you can prepare for this, and you can understand how it works. Different ways to find housing. So the reserve accommodation program is what I was referring to. They're helping by booking some rooms, but also by listing different sites where you can find a room, right? So it's also sad to know, but there are people that abuse this situation and scam students. So we also have during your search part of the information how to avoid scams and fake offers. I don't want to scare you, but you can read all the information. Our housing office is there to help throughout the process. And again, one more time, reach out. If you have if you find a place and you are hesitating, you can always ask, does this look good? Should I go ahead with this? And then, usually it works fine, but there are a few cases every year where it doesn't. And here I also include a little map where you can see, well, this is Utrecht downtown, the biggest campus that I was referring to. And then there are a lot of towns and villages around. So comparing to Taipei, probably even with surrounding cities, this is a lot smaller than Taipei is. So we also recommend, okay, be open-minded and, look around so that your chances to find a place increase. I also wanted to say something about study culture because this also brings up usually a lot of questions. So I will share how the academic calendar looks like. Typically, the course starts at the beginning of September and runs throughout the end of June. We do have 2 semesters, but they are not maybe what you're used to. I'm not sure how this works in Taipei, but in many countries, you have a long semester with quite some subjects. And the exams will tend to be at the end of the semester. So you can have sort of a relaxed start and then, work a little bit harder at the end. Well, it doesn't quite work like that at Utrecht University, because these semesters are divided into 2 periods. And this means that in period 1, you might have as little as 2 subjects, for example, that you will work on from about 9-10 weeks, more or less. But the pace will be quick. So you will have to do your readings, you will have to do projects, prepare papers, and there are different ways of getting your grades. So all of that is going to happen in a very short period. And this will happen 4 times a year. And between periods, there is usually a break of a week, a longer winter break, another break here, and then there is a summer break. If you are longer than a year, then that's 2 months, July and August usually. Also, depending on the program, this can change a little bit. And for one program, the period can be 9 weeks, for the other 10. But roughly, this is how it looks generally. Teaching methods also, it can depend on the program, but it's usually a mix of seminars and tutorials, bigger lectures with a bigger group. It can be an internship or a research paper. It can be lab work for some of the science program, group work, and again, self-study time. It's something that you need to consider. I also got, I think there were 2 British students a couple of years ago saying like, there is something wrong with our schedule because every Friday we are free. This cannot be. And I said, yeah, that can be, but it doesn't mean you are free and you should book your all trips around Europe every weekend. You probably have a lot of self-study to do or group work. So you will have to, get used to that. Same for assessment and testing. There are different ways to do this, or it can be traditional exams, can be essays or papers. You might be asked to make a presentation. Class participation, as I said at the beginning, that's really encouraged. So that can even be part of your grade. A thesis typically is written, especially in the longer programs, for finalizing the course, or many others that a professor can decide depending on the class. Okay, and then I wanted to also share with you that when you go to the program of your interest, we do offer the opportunity to chat with our students. So you will get a pop-up card, and there you will find a student typically that is doing that program or another program within UU, and you can ask directly how they are experiencing it, because I can tell you the story, but they are studying at the moment, so you can ask how the program looks like, the subjects, the teachers, how the city is like, student life. And I think it's a really good way for you to clarify questions if you prefer this way with somebody that is doing it right now. We see that this works really, really good, and that students really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to students. So I also encourage you to do this. We organize open days both in spring and autumn. So for masters, we just had an online open day in October. For bachelors, we will have it next Wednesday online and on location later on, also in November. And then in the spring, so typically February, March, we will have open days again. We always have online days if you are unable to travel, which I can imagine is complicated from Taiwan. So I would say take the opportunity. Time difference might make it more difficult, but you can always register and look at the recording afterwards. We also do sessions like this one for internationals. You can join the program or programs that you are interested in and learn more. And I think this is a really good way for you to understand better if the program that you're interested into is what you expect and the choice that you would like to make. And with this, I wanted to go on to the questions. Meant I have relevant work experience. What advice do you have for me, or what skills should I strengthen? I think for sustainable development, I'm not an expert in each program, but I know it's quite broad. And within the program, there are 4 different tracks that you can choose from. So I don't think you need the strongest scientific background here. So I would recommend you to get into touch with the program coordinator, explain also the experience that you have, because as I explained with bachelor's programs is quite straightforward. So your application goes to the student admissions office, and they do have, a list of requirements. And if you have them or not, then that's A or B, you are accepted or not. For masters, there is a little bit more of a gray area. It's not if you need to have this bachelor degree, and if yes, you are in. For some programs, of course, if they are medicine related, for example, that's different. But for something that is more general, there is a bit more room, as you say, because you might have worked in the field or might have done another study. So I would advise to reach out to the program coordinator, explain what your degree is and the work experience you have, and they can tell you better what your chance of getting into the program is. And let me know if this helps or you need more information about it. Is there any information for the McField degree? We do have both, as I explained at the beginning. We have the 1 year, and then we have research ones that are 2 years, and this differs per program and per faculty. So again, I would recommend to really take a look at the programs that we have, and then you will find per program all the information that you need. Is there any scholarship offered by the university? Yes, definitely. We have scholarships. We are not the strongest offering scholarships, to be fair, but same. You can find all the information in the website, and you will see there the list of scholarships that are either offered by Utrecht or other scholarships that we can work with. I do have to say that this is quite competitive. I did have an international student that was applying and didn't get it, despite having a very strong curriculum. And I was discussing this with our scholarship officer, and yeah, she told me, yeah, we only have a few per year, and we have a lot of strong applicants, so it's quite competitive. Just so that you know that we don't have a lot, unfortunately, and yeah, it's not very easy to get it. Is it possible to get admitted to a master at UU with a bachelor from Applied Science University? I must say that the university is encouraging for us to accept more and more students with an applied science background, because we want more diversity in the classroom. And I think maybe, as I said before, maybe not for every program if it's something so specific as medicine or veterinary medicine or this kind of programs. But this is definitely encouraged. So yes, it is possible. Luckily, I think it's a very good thing. Yeah, and while we were mentioning that the presentation is quite broad, right? I just wanted to give general information about everything. If you guys have indeed a particular program in mind, again, I would encourage to join our open days for more information about the program, or really, yeah, don't hesitate to get in touch with the program coordinator that can explain more, or chat with the student ambassadors that we have on the web pages, because they are more than happy to explain and talk about their experience at the moment. Together with Dual, we are organizing it there for you in Taipei, so you can talk face to face, even better than chatting online with a student about the student's experience with us. So you can you can do it live, which is a lot better.
Yes. One more question.
Yes. What do you think would be the biggest culture shock for international students? Oh, I think there are a couple that are always mentioned. I think one is the weather, because we get a lot of gray and rainy days. And yes, you will be surprised. Dutchies still keep biking, whether it rains or snows. It doesn't snow very much, just a few days per year, or even less. Some years it doesn't. But it can get cold and rainy, and people just keep biking. I think that's, for me, it was amazing to see. Yeah, kids, grandmas, doesn't matter. they they all bike. I think food might be another one. When I was in Taipei and also met one of our alumni there, he was mentioning that he was cooking a lot for himself because it's rather expensive to eat. And Dutch people eat lots of bread and sandwiches. And I think like you guys, I come from a culture where we are a lot more interested in cooking warm meals and having a variety of food. So that's also quite a shock that Dutch students can, in the middle of the class, just get their sandwich and eat, and that's lunch, and that's that. So that's something that you have to get used to it. Then I think for the academics, it's more or less what I tried to explain already. Maybe one more thing that also confuses internationals is that it's quite difficult to get high grades. Yeah, Dutch education is quite tough, and students get just like pass marks, or I don't know, in a range from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. If you pass with a 5.5, 6, 7, 8 are normal, 9, 10 are almost impossible to get. And some people get frustrated, but it's not you, it's the system. So don't get frustrated about that. Yeah, biking. I also explained. Everybody bikes. Yeah, it's just how it is, as you saw in the video. People keep going. Yeah, I think mostly the weather, the food, the biking are, I think, the ones that are probably the ones that you realize more. Maybe also the social life. Maybe it's a bit more flexible with students, but it's really everything built with an appointment and with an agenda. So in a sense, it's really very extremely organized, I would say. So it's something that you have to get used to. I come from a culture where everything is like, shall we meet tomorrow? Yeah, sure. If you do that in the Netherlands, shall we meet tomorrow? Oh, I only have time in 3 weeks or in a month. Okay. So, well, yeah, that's also something that I had to get used to. Okay. When will be the in-person event I can meet you alumni that was mentioned? Sorry, Dual, can you
Oh, I see. That's on
explain
yeah,
the time, place, location?
yes. Let me see.
Put it in the chat?
Yes, it's already in the
Perfect.
chat.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Is there any activity held in university that helps students find jobs in the Netherlands after their graduation? Yes, there is. Our alumni office has just started a group with all internationals that have stayed and work in the Netherlands to help those that are currently studying and, create a network. We do have also a careers office that is helping with this process. I must say that the last couple of years, it's more and more recommended to work on Dutch language. If you are planning to stay for a longer time, I think politics also had some influence on this. I've been living there for a long time. I manage always to work mostly in English, but I mean, yeah, it's appreciated and it's helpful if you learn the language. But there is definitely support to find jobs afterwards. Yeah, especially in science. There is a shortage of labor force. There are quite some jobs that are open. So yeah, there are definitely opportunities. Okay. Should I submit my language certification when applying, or can I submit it after receiving the offer? There are deadlines for this, but you can apply it without having done the test yet. But you will receive the information from our admissions officers by when you are expected to have it ready. Yes, so you can apply also without having the diploma of your bachelor or high school diploma, but there will be like a document that you will need to fill or your school for you. But the application can be started. Yeah, that's no problem. Anything else?
Okay.
No, it's really nice that there are questions. No problem.
If we don't have any more questions, Then Anna, I would like to thank you on behalf of all the participants to thank you so much for sharing all the information about your university and also providing a lot of suggestions to all our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me. Muchas gracias. De nada. Very sweet.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, we'll
Thank
keep
you.
in touch. Ciao.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe see you in Utrecht. Bye bye.
Yes.
Good
Bye
luck,
bye.
everyone. Bye.